better if...
If never, quit talking.
Stop.
Shh, never say that, never.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Why does he always sound like he's sick? Because he's sick.
Yeah, you know, like the kids say, that's sick.
Yeah, that's sick.
Kids say that anymore?
I
I
don't
think
know.
kids stopped saying that before even I was a kid.
I don't know, but it's wicked cool.
We were talking about how it's cool to shorten everything tonight or today, and they were like, one of the girls was saying like you don't say totally, you say totes, and you don't
Totes
say
my goats.
you don't say adorable, you say adorbs, and I was like, no, just dorbs. Actually, just dorb, and it's just tote dorb. I said you have to leave some on there. You can't just say toe door, because then it just sounds like you got your toe stuck in the door. So yeah, you have to leave enough that it's clear what you're saying. So tote dorb. That is tote dorb.
Remember that time that I was tweeting from my personal account? Oops. It's fine. I'm fixing it right now.
Is that what you just did?
I was about to, and then I realized before I hit send, thankfully, but I was pretty close. There we go. First one sent.
I am still in last week's.
By the way, just to keep the Snugpod account like clean and gaming focused, I got rid of a bunch of political ads today.
Oh, good.
I opened it up and there were like 10 political ads right at the top of the thing, and I was like, no. I was like, whatever. On personal accounts, that's different, but on the show account, like, no.
Yeah. I wish that you had to pick what you wanted to show up instead of having to go through and tell all the junk you don't to go away.
Yeah.
Did you notice the downvote is gone?
No.
The downvote arrow that they implemented, it doesn't exist anymore. It just kind of quietly disappeared.
Like Twitter might be doing.
I hope not.
I don't think it'll go anywhere. But...
I'd honestly be surprised if it completely shuts down. I mean, well, surprise is a strong word. Not a lot surprises me. I guess I would.
Surprise is a strong word.
Yeah, I don't think it's right to say I'd be surprised by it. I just don't expect to see that. I think it's probably something that enough people use that it will continue to exist in some form until users decide they don't want to use it.
Yeah.
I only use it for stuff like this, and that's very minimal. I see you guys tweet occasionally, and I'll respond to you guys, or like some of our other like show peeps. I'll see them say something, and occasionally, but other than that, I just don't engage with it much anyway. But I mean, it's kind of a pretty big platform to just shut down. But who knows? I mean, all that drama over there.
I don't know. MySpace shut down back in the day.
Yeah, but people quit using it. They migrated to other things.
Your episode 31 title, the Skyrim's on Fire song.
What?
What does that even mean?
I mean, I get it, but what?
The sky's on fire. The sky's on fire. The Skyrim's on fire song.
Oh,
I thought you were just going because it was the Skyrim 11th anniversary and Fire song release. So
Yep.
It was Skyrim on Fire.
Yep.
I thought it makes sense.
That's what it came from.
Okay.
But I put it together.
Okay, that title is a reach. Really?
It is.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
That's great.
No, that was my inspiration for making the title what it was, but I worded it the way that I did with the idea of the sky's on fire, So I just, the Skyrim is on fire song. But yeah, I just looked at the notes and I was like, Skyrim, fire song. There we go. I'll do that. And then I was typing in the notes and I was like, Yeah, that was a bit of a reach. Couldn't help it.
As in the reach.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Reaches all caps in the notes. So.
Love it.
Yeah. I love making the obviously bad joke and drawing as much attention to it as possible.
No way. I would have never guessed that you do that.
Yeah. No, I do it frequently. Um, another bad joke I'm gonna make. Um,
What?
it's the one where I say I'm gonna go get some orange juice. Except that's not really a joke. That's what makes it bad. I'm gonna actually go get some orange juice.
Wow.
And now I'm not laughing anymore.
He's a mess.
I just took my Dayquil because I got up and I was like, oh god, why does my throat hurt so much? Oh my
Oh
gosh,
no.
it's been like 14 hours since I took some Dayquil.
Oh no.
Oh god, no, it's 11 o'clock at night. It's been a lot longer than 14 hours. I took it at like 6 a.m.
Tangy.
Yeah, orange juice is definitely not what I would have thought is a go-to podcasting drink.
Well, we have one
When
bottle.
you said tangy, it made me think you're drinking Tang.
Ew.
No, just orange juice. Pulpless orange juice. Which I actually think I prefer pulp.
Same.
Yeah, I think the texture adds a little something to it, but we only have one bottle of water left, and I'm leaving that for someone else. So, trying to be, considerate of the others in my house.
Aww.
So, if one of them needs the water. Plus, since my COVID is flaring up, I need the vitamin C.
Zinc, that'll do it.
Yeah. Is there zinc in orange juice?
No, the zinc is in the sink.
Oh, so I should just be drinking tap water.
I mean, actually, there probably is zinc in the sink, but I was going Dr. Seuss.
Well, I am a cat in a hat, so.
Oh my god. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Wow, wow,
Whoa.
wow.
Wait, what?
Huh?
I'm looking at the notes.
You're looking at the notes?
Yeah. We'll talk about it in a minute when we get there. I wanna
Yeah.
know what that first thing there is.
The news thing?
Nope.
You did some
Oh.
treasure maps?
Nope. We'll talk about it in a second when we start.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, fine.
We'll be quiet so you can start, and then we'll officially start.
Is everybody ready?
Yep. And I'm just saying we'll be quiet and then officially
I was
start. So
born
that way Al
ready.
knows to be quiet.
Okay. And we can start. Hello and welcome to A Snugpod Cast. I'm drinking orange juice, the chosen podcast drink for all those serious about hanging out inside of a tree and chatting about Elder Scrolls Online. I'm never separate, and I am also here with my two lovely co-hosts, Gwen the Bard. How are you?
Hello.
And Gone Crazy Back Soon. What's up?
Nothing much, but my drink of choice is coffee.
Oh, no. You've,
Being a rock star because I'm a rock star, but okay.
And
You
that
ruined
just
it.
tells everyone how different we all are.
Yep. And I, just so you know how hardcore I am, I drink my orange juice straight, no chaser. So,
Is that Pulp Fiction?
It is pulp free. Pulp fiction. Are we allowed to say that?
Okay, I had
I
to put
hate
myself in
myself.
trophy.
I hate myself. I'm sorry. I hate it. Okay, I'm gonna mute myself now.
That's pretty good. Pretty good. I can tell I've been rubbing off on you.
Yeah, I've seen you in person now twice. I mean, it was bound to happen.
Yeah, and the last time we actually spent a good bit of time hanging out, so
Yeah.
yeah, plenty of time to pick up some my
Influence.
better qualities. So yeah, all right. So yep, you're listening or watching. If you are watching, do we have anybody watching? Is there anybody actually in the chat right now?
No.
No.
No,
Okay.
it's 12:30 in the morning.
Well, for you, not for me. It's not. There are
Well,
other
that's
time.
true.
There are other time zones. I mean, our friend Sasquatch is like even earlier than that. So
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's
It's like
true.
6 a.m. in Austria.
Yeah.
yeah, see, when I say good morning, people are like, it's
It's
not
only
morning.
9:30. It's only 9:30 on the other coast.
Yeah, I say good morning all the time. People tell me it's not morning. It's well, not here, maybe somewhere. So good morning in their time.
That's
Ah,
true.
yeah. So anyway, so nobody's apparently watching live. So you're listening to a Snug Podcast, and it's a little bit of a slower week in terms of news. But as far as what we've been up to in game, this is what I wanted to get some information on, Gwen, because I didn't know what this was about. Tell us what you've been up to.
Bastion and I are besties now. We maxed out our rapport, and he gave me a friendship medallion and with a nice letter. I'm keeping the letter. I'm gonna keep it in my mail as long as I can. But yeah,
So
I'm really happy about that.
is it not a thing that you actually like put in your inventory or?
It's a collection thing. It basically lets you have whatever the Bastion perk is all the time, even when he's not equipped.
Okay, okay,
All of the companions have something
right,
like that.
right.
So far, Bastion's the only one I've unlocked because he's the one I adventure with the most. But now I'm not going to adventure with him so I can get the other ones unlocked. So it'll be a bit. So he's just going to chill in his. Now I need to finish like setting up, choose an in room and set up his apartment for him so that way he has a nice place to hang out. Because
So
he's earned that.
so now you can put him in your homes.
No, I could do that a long time ago. Um, that doesn't have anything to do with rapport. I think that's like max level or finishing his quest story. One of those two. Yeah, it's just finishing his quest story because I have Miri unlocked for putting her in my homes too.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't gotten anybody's extra quest stuff yet, so um, I'm assuming that's something that once you hit a certain level, uh, they have some dialogue or something. Is that how that works?
Yeah, because Miri's only level 11 and I can put her in my home already, so.
Okay. Cool. What else? Anything else?
Just doing event stuff and that's about it.
Okay. What about you, Crazy?
Pretty much same as it's been for me. Really busy with work. About 60 hours again. Every time I'm in the game, I tend to fall asleep because I'm so relaxed finally. But I did do some of the event. I've done some Hero Storms. I've been chipping away at some antiquities because my antiquities and leads were getting quite full. And I had a bunch that I had scried but not dug up. And I don't know, knock on wood, when I say this, it'll probably stop, but like I have been having good RNG with leads when I go do stuff. I don't know why, but I'll take it. So I don't know. I guess I've just been getting lucky. Like today, I got an ancestral Breton lead from a treasure chest, which those aren't that easy, I don't think, to get. So I got one of
Nice.
those. Got one of those earlier from one of my treasure maps, and then I did some of the collector's edition treasure maps that I've just had like sitting in my inventory that I haven't really been using. So yeah, it's just been like light stuff. It's mostly been back end guild stuff still. We've been in process of, working on some stuff for Discord for lore seekers that hopefully will launch sometime in the new year. So it's been busy. But yeah, uh, that's pretty much it. I'm hoping that I get some more time to actually sit and quest and like enjoy the game. That would be nice.
Indeed, sometimes it's easy to miss out on actually just playing.
Yeah, it's definitely been that way this past month, and it's not like a burnout thing. It's not anything like that. It's just I haven't had much free time, like the
Mm-hmm.
time that I would normally get at work to be able to do some of this back end stuff. I haven't had available because of what I've been doing. So it's been tricky because now all that time that I did have is compressed into what little time I have when I'm at home in the evenings. So yeah, but it's good. Chipping away. Things are going okay. Um, yeah, happy to be here with you guys in the Snug Pod.
Indeed.
What
Indeed.
about you?
Um, yes.
Same.
Um, basically, not because of excessive work hours or anything, um, but just this past week I've been a little under the weather. I was bored and wanted to try out being sick. Everybody talks about it all the time. I was like, I don't get to do that very often, so I let my guard down and put down my shield and uh, took off some of my armor pieces that give me the increased resistances. I said, all right, bring it on. And so been a little under the weather, so I just haven't felt like trying to sit up and I've still been going to work, and when I get home, I'm kind of spent because I've been on my feet and we've been busy, and uh, so I come home and just try to put my feet up and relax and rest when I can. Um, so I'm getting a little better. Mostly just have a cough now. I'm still a little tired, um, but yeah, not too bad. But as far as what I've been able to do when I have gotten on is I've just tried to get on and get tickets. Um, I've been using for anybody listening that wasn't aware of this trick. Someone in our Discord, Lore Hall, I think, said something about it.
Yeah, I
Um,
think it was him actually.
and so there's a trick where if you just go to Markarth and Solitude and pick up the Harrowstorm dailies and have them both in your quest log, you could just go do one Harrowstorm and it completes both of those quests. So you can go and turn both of those in and get one ticket each from them instead of having to go and do two separate Harrowstorms. So instead of going to one zone, picking up the thing, going and doing a Harrowstorm, turning it in, and going to the other zone, just grab them both at the same time. Whatever zone you're in, at, when you um, when you pick up the second
Trick is
one,
getting
just
to a Hailstorm in time. That's the
uh,
trick.
So true.
yeah, I haven't had too much trouble with that. I've missed one or two, but thankfully now that we have that um, ability to see which one is active, those don't, at least for me, haven't tended to go away super quick if it's one that just started. So if I get get to one right as it's ending, or if I see it end before I can get to it, then I can just look on the map, see where the next one is, and that one's not too hard to get to in time. Um, so far, I haven't had too much trouble with that. Man, I don't know if that's just me being lucky or what, um, but yeah. So just a little tip there um, to make that process a little quicker. Um, Outside of that, I tried to do some inventory management the past week or so. Thought I did a decent bit, and it just seems like it just fills right back up. So, um, but I did go through, and we've been, I think all of us have been listing a bunch of stuff on our guild trader, uh, guild store. We don't have a trader, but um, that way our guildies can pick stuff up, and I've seen a lot of that stuff move, and I've put stuff on other traders, and so that's helped clear out some stuff. Even a lot of my base recipes and motifs and stuff that I had just tons of and keep getting duplicates of. I've listed those pretty cheap, and a lot of that stuff has sold too. So that's been good. Get a little gold from it and let somebody else benefit from not spending too much if they haven't found them yet. But yeah, so that's about it for me. Just event stuff and inventory management. So hopefully with some time off coming up, can maybe actually get on and, like you said, do some questing. That's probably one of the parts of the game that I enjoy the most, at least if I'm playing alone, but do the least. So
Yeah, same.
I have so much stuff undone. There's really no point in me even buying the next chapter. Because and honestly, the big reason that I bought the last few when they were released was because of extra systems, the card game or jewelry crafting or all that stuff. It's like, well, having access to that's going to be good. So I've tried to make sure I had that stuff, especially if it was something that could be made available through our house, through the guild retreat for other members. But yeah, that's it.
Nice.
I have gotten a couple leads. You talked about that. I have gotten one or two leads. I got something that's I don't even remember what it is. I think it was a vampire something, one of the 5 pieces of some, I guess it's one of the mythics, I'm not sure.
Oh, is it the vampire chain?
Yes, I think so.
I literally just got that a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
It's
I got
from
that
Harrow
earlier
Storms.
today, too.
Okay. Yeah. So I got that, and I got a lead for, I guess, one of the music boxes, or the music, I don't know how many of those there are.
Ooh.
There's at least 2, because there's the Aldmeri one, and then there's the new one with Galen.
I believe it's the Aldmeri one that it's like one of 3 pieces or something.
Oh, that's the Aldmeri one. The Galen one has 5 pieces.
Yeah. So I haven't done those yet, but they're sitting in my journal.
Don't let them expire.
Yeah, I haven't.
Recommend putting it together. It actually sounds really good. I like that music box.
Yeah, I need to go and try to get the other couple of pieces of that. I don't know that I even realized that was a furnishing that you could get. I think I heard it at some point. Heard about them being available, but I guess maybe I'd forgotten about it. But anyway.
Cool.
So, as I said, kind of a quiet news week. Newsy has not had much to say.
Not at all.
But got a couple of things in our notes here. Apparently there's been some controversy about some things. So what's that about?
Well, Twitter's been
Dumpster
kind
fire.
of divided. Well, yeah, but that's a whole separate story. But I mean, ESO on the Twitter on the ESO front has been a little bit. Well, I guess I could say it's a little bit of a dumpster fire too. The launch of Firesong was pretty rough all around, and I think that people were frustrated that there were going to be known bugs that were coming to console. There were things that feedback supposedly was given on PTS that also did not get fixed before it dropped. So the community, here's what I'll say. Some of the community has been very outspoken on that. And then, of course, ZOS kind of did their, I don't want to call it a rebuttal, but kind of their like, hey, we're sorry, here's your free pet. And, thanks for being here kind of a situation. And for some people, there were the people who, of course, were like, oh, yay, free pet, thank you, hooray. And then there were other people who were like, too little, too late. Why'd you do it this way? Like, we gave you this feedback already. How dare you? Um, so it was like that back and forth the whole week. I think one of the things that got some people fired up too is Rich tweeted something that was kind of like, and this isn't the exact quote, but it was like a situation of like, player one, this is the greatest expansion you've ever done. We love it. Way to go. Blah, blah. And then player two, you're trash. How dare you? Like, it was sort of that sort of a feeling of the tweet.
Uh-huh.
So it was a little bit all over the place with the community this week, to be honest. So that's what that was referring to. There was some good conversation in certain threads. I did see some threads that had like Benevolent Bodhi and Lotus and some of the more notable ESO players on Twitter kind of, back and forth, talking to people. And, Lotus kind of, I responded to one of his tweets because he had said something along the lines of like, I think people would be more understanding if the updates weren't like, basically it's along the lines of, while it's nice to have this content quarterly pushed very quickly and it's expected and they have a really good cadence of things coming out, people would wait for things to get fixed,
Right.
like, and I said, exactly. I mean, I would be happy to wait a couple more weeks if it meant allowing the devs to be able to fix some stuff that was literally pretty game breaking for people initially when the patch dropped on PC. When the patch dropped on PC, they were kind of having a similar situation to what we had during Markarth, where like people couldn't log in. Some people were having constant screen drops or constant being booted out
I
and
totally
not able to
forgot
get
about
back
that.
in. Yeah, like it was almost kind of, it reminded me of like a cut and paste of what happened with the consoles, or specifically the PlayStation users during the Markarth drop. It was a very similar thing. There's people that I know that still haven't been able to get in the game. I know someone that got is trying to log in, and they got the thing where you have to send the email, like the confirmation email, that gets sent to you by Bethesda and ZOS to put in the code. They've never received one. And they messaged the like they tweeted at the oh my gosh, I'm having a brain fart. You know what I'm saying? They tweeted at the people who basically like take care of all of that stuff, and they were like, "Oh yeah, if it doesn't come in X amount of time, try again." Like there was no, pretty
They
much
sound like
no
they're having the same problem like I am with
no
PlayStation.
no
That sucks. I feel for
response.
them.
So it was like, so uh, yikes. I mean, big yikes right now. I don't know. I mean,
Hmm.
have you guys had any problems with the update? Have you noticed anything like that? I'm gonna be honest, I really haven't played it enough to notice. Like I said last week, I didn't know it was out on PC because of my work schedule at one point, and then on console this week, since it's been out, I think I've been to Galen maybe twice, and it was just to like turn in stuff or to go look at stuff, and that was it.
Well, I've actually been playing a lot. I've been able to do all the dailies in Galen and the Reach in Western Skyrim every day since it dropped, and I've had zero issues.
Well, that's good.
So, yeah.
Honestly, outside of a few times, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's live now. I haven't even thought to look and like even see where the Galen is at on the map. So,
Recommend hanging out. Just turn down everything except for the music. Chill.
um,
Yeah.
see, I actually like the ambient noises.
Oh, ambient's good too. But
Uh,
like normally I don't listen to music in video games. I know I'm hurting someone's ears right now because they love it. But
I'm crying inside. Oh, Galen
but
has such good music.
oh, Galen does. Like I just started getting used to the whole idea of actually listening to music in ESO because I'd have to. It got to the point if I actually wanted to play the game, I'd have to absolutely turn off the music 100%, or I could not stay awake, just because I got so used to playing and then falling asleep after I got home that I'd hear the music and I'd start falling asleep while I was playing.
Is that my problem? That might be my problem.
So so I started turning off the music so I could actually like listen to the quests and stay awake. Uh, but yeah, the music's great in Gala. Recommend.
Yeah, I need to go check it out. Um,
Uh,
Go ahead.
no. Go ahead, finish what you're gonna say, and then I'll.
I
say
was
what
just
was
gonna say I haven't been over there yet, but that was it.
I was gonna say I found the actual tweet from Lotus, since we were talking about it. So, Benevolent Bodhi basically said, "I'm checking my news feed, and what are your thoughts on free pet compensation?" Because I guess somebody had posted something that said Elder Scrolls Online players offended by free pet following disastrous launch. And Lotus's response basically was, I really like the free pet personally, but they can't keep having stuff like this happen to the degree it does. They'll get backlash because it's what people do, but they've got to pay more attention to PTS feedback and or delay the launches until they're ready.
Yeah.
And I basically said, this is the tweet right here, because everyone will happily wait if it means less bugs and more times for the devs. So I cannot imagine, like truly, I cannot imagine what it must be like as a dev with something that is across so many platforms and has been out for a while, and also is still probably dealing with a little bit of like the whole coming out of working from home situation. Like, you got to think when they're doing this stuff ahead of time, it's a year and a half probably out when they're actually developing it. So I mean, some of this stuff still could have been developed in the work from home situation. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe so. Um, they've got. You would think now that with Microsoft backing, if Microsoft is investing any money into it, um, that there would be maybe some improvement in quality control, maybe play testing. I don't know. It seems like that should be something that the extra finances ought to help with, as well as which I get. The hardware issue might also be availability, but uh, but anyway, you would think that Microsoft taking over the company or buying the company, whatever, with the intent to kind of use that to grow their platform in some ways. That some of that stuff maybe would see its way out. Not necessarily be perfected, but certainly be lessened. I don't follow other MMOs enough to know if they also have these same kind of problems. Um, but I can see where when we have it happen as consistently as it does, um, and sometimes the response maybe seems a little I'm not sure what the word I'm looking for is, but giving us a pet as a way of saying sorry could maybe seem less than genuine, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. What do you just as far as the pet itself goes, everything else aside, if
It's
they
clutter.
clutter?
It's clutter. More pets are clutter to me. Honestly, I'm never gonna use it. I'm probably never gonna put it somewhere. Yeah, it's a guar. Yeah, it's cute. Yeah, it's a little lizard. I love it, but it's just more clutter. Um, I don't like touching on the negative, so I don't want to dwell on this topic too long.
Yeah.
But clearly, this is a thing where it's consistent. It happens every year, and from what I'm used to, if you're going at something like this, you don't go at it with complaints, you go at it with solutions.
Yep.
And what I see is if this is a consistent issue, and how they're looking at it is these are our set times, this is what, no matter what, this is when it's released. If we can't figure it out by then, well, next patch, that's when we'll fix it. Well, if that's how you want to do it, then, and you're sticking with your release date, maybe release your PTS earlier. They're already developing everything for the next year, well, is this already set to develop? Is it possible to release these PTS things like a week or another week earlier to give them that time to find those bugs, to put in that feedback? Try that. Like, if we're not willing to extend, maybe go on the other side of it, because clearly if this is being a consistent issue for everyone every year, something has to give.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I do too. And for me, I guess in terms of the pet, it is definitely clutter in many aspects. I agree with you there. But for me, I guess I always look at it as like they honestly don't have to give us anything.
They don't.
I mean,
Exactly.
I know that sounds horrible, but like
Oh no, I agree.
they really don't. So for me, I always appreciate it. I think it's better than if they were like, "Here, have a stack of tri-stat pots" or something like that, because that would annoy me because I'm like, "Great, that's not that big of a deal."
See,
At
it's a nice
least,
gesture. I see it as a nice
yeah.
gesture. It is clutter. To
Yeah.
me personally, it's clutter, but it is a nice gesture, and I do
Yeah.
recognize and acknowledge that.
Yeah, no, I know. And I think I definitely understand that from you. I'm just saying, I think it's funny that people get so like in a tizzy, I guess, over that when I'm like, guys, they don't have to give us anything.
Right.
I mean, yes, they want to retain their their peeps, but at the same time, like, I don't know. Anyway, we can move on. That was kind of like the big hullabaloo this week, it
Yeah.
seemed like, in many respects. And since there wasn't much news, I felt like it was important to kind of to touch on it because the community is pretty not divided. I wouldn't say they're divided on it, but it is getting to that point. So,
And this might, I don't know if this is the right thing to say or not, but sometimes I think we use that word community, and it is a community. Don't get me wrong, but just people are fickle,
hmm
and
oh,
gamers
somebody's always going to be unhappy.
and gamers. Oh my gosh, um, like you you've got to you've got to have some understanding of this is just a game.
Yeah,
Like it's not a
absolutely.
thing you should let make you so furious, um, that you go to the extremes that you do. Like if you dislike something, that's fine. You have a right to have an opinion, and if you're buying a product, and especially a live service like this, you know, the, we've talked about it before. Those of us that, if we sub every month, a month at a time, and don't get the discounted extended uh, plans, and you buy the chapters when they release, you're spending, without counting any extra Crown Store stuff, you're spending $240 a year, um, on this game. So you have a right to have some say and give feedback and things like that. But there's a line. You don't have a
Yeah.
right to attack people personally, um, and to get into all of the things that go on social media because gamers think that they have some, uh, I don't know. So that kind of stuff really, it just gets under my skin. The way that people
Yeah.
will treat somebody over that stuff. Um, but yeah, I like what you said, Gwen. I think that, the idea of, um, earlier PTS, something like that, to, um, give more time for testing, and like I said, hopefully, how long's it been since the Bethesda Microsoft? Uh,
Acquisition?
yeah, just the
I
past
don't
I
year,
don't
right?
know. I don't like talking about the numbers. I forget.
Um,
It's been a while.
I think
Time's
it's
flew
within the
by.
last year.
oh,
Um,
it is. Hold on, I'll tell you.
So,
Oh gosh.
um, so there's probably still some stuff being ironed out uh, with all of that.
Um,
But hopefully, hopefully some investment from Microsoft will maybe help them get better hardware where it's needed, and um, be able to afford more uh, testing, QA folks or whatever's needed uh, to keep this kind of stuff from happening. Because it is the kind of thing that over time, when it happens enough, it kind of pushes people to go elsewhere to play other games.
yeah, it looks like they announced their plans to purchase Bethesda in September of 2020.
Okay. That makes
So the actual acquisition, I think, was sometime around March of 21.
okay. So
Yeah,
still, yeah.
March 9th, 2021.
Okay. So anyway, yeah.
Oh my gosh, Crown. He's been talking to us in chat. He
Oh,
said,
you
don't say
haven't
that.
been reading any of that? Yeah,
No, he said, don't say the numbers out loud. I had the show notes pulled up, so I couldn't see that.
Don't say
Yeah,
the numbers out loud.
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I was
Don't talk
conflicted
about
on the whole.
how much we spend each year.
I was conflicted on to
Oh,
say, don't say it. I don't want to know numbers, numbers.
oh, that
But
was
at
the
the same
number. I thought you were talking
time,
about the numbers on years on how long. Okay, when you said that was after I asked the question about the.
oh, well,
Okay.
time's weird though. It honestly
Yeah,
feels like that was sooner or
it
closer than
hurts.
further. But
Yes, true.
But yeah, yeah, it is one of those things when you hear that number out loud, it's like, oh my gosh. So I can try to edit that out, but I won't.
do it. Edit it out.
It's okay. I mean, it's the as bad as it sounds, it's the reality though, I mean, like you said, Gwen, when there's problems, you got to come with solutions, but that part, unfortunately, for those of us that do love the game and do play it and spend money in it, like we make the choice to do it,
Yeah, I
Solution.
mean, it's
I'm
a
not using
hobby,
ESO
you
Plus
know.
anymore.
It's a hobby like
You're losing. You're like, I'm getting rid of ESO Plus.
um yeah, I mean it's a hobby like anything else. I mean if you like to fish, you got to buy fishing equipment. That's not cheap.
True that.
If you like to tinker on cars, you buy parts for cars, and if you're a musician, you buy music equipment. I mean um, so you're going to spend money
Yeah.
on a hobby somewhere.
Yeah, don't remind me I sub on 2 platforms. Oh,
Yeah.
God. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on.
So about those update guides, right? That's what's next to the notes.
Yeah.
Fire
Fire song.
Jinx.
Yep, Jinx.
Actually, yes, that is exactly the problem I was having and why I had to mute my mic there.
See, I'm right on 2 accounts.
The cat, Jinx. Bless.
Hey, you're having coffee, so am I.
Oh boy. Oh boy, we're to that point now. We're not even through the show notes and we already got jokes.
We've had jokes this whole time. What are you talking about?
That's true.
You go ahead. Start reading that. I mean, interrupt.
No, all I was gonna say is Fire Song and Update 36 guide. That's all. I don't think we need to like go too crazy into these, but basically they've come out with their thing that they come out with every update, where they show community guides that were submitted, and different people in the community have come up and they've compiled all of them here into one thing. So that'll be in the show notes. But the one that I think personally that I found of note, I haven't watched it, but I'm going to watch it because I always love a good review. And I really, really usually enjoy his videos, is Zynode has an updated light and heavy attack weaving video. So I think that's pretty great that that's in there. And yeah, there's a couple other things. Some combat preview stuff from Skinny Cheeks, which he always has great stuff as well. Um, stuff talking about mythics, furniture updates, solo builds. There's some new stuff on the Tales of Tribute Druid King deck, which apparently people are really, really liking. So that's good. Yeah. I don't know. Anything else either of you want to add from there?
No. I don't think so. Not me. Gwen?
Nope.
Sweet.
New players.
New players. So that's the community spotlight right there. It'll be in the show notes.
My quick guide for everyone. Do your dailies now. While everyone's doing it, if you are a generally PvE player and not super strong and you need those people there to help you with the crazy things like the volcanic vents and the world bosses, get them in now.
True.
Because if you get at least 15 of them done in like a year or two, or at the end of the year, whenever we do that like event like we're doing for Western Skyrim, because it seems to be a thing, you'll be able to finish them. So if you get at least 15 done now, you don't have to do them for 30 days, but then you will be on when there's guaranteed to be people on, so you can get all those achievements. That's my community guide there.
There
All
you
right.
go. You should have submitted that. A wooden map of Tamriel.
That sounds so cool.
Yeah. Oh, we have other people here now too. Moki's here too.
What's up?
Sheesh, you need to look up from your phone.
Huh? I'm on the laptop in the mod view.
Oh.
Yes, a wooden map of Tamriel. This is really cool.
That looks wicked.
That
Yeah,
does look really cool.
One of the developers who does like the biome artwork or biome team stuff with the dev team. She's a senior environment artist on the biome team. Created this 3-dimensional wooden map of Tamriel, and it is amazing. So cool. It's made out of 3 different types of wood, all stained differently, and they did it with a laser cutter and their prowess, I guess. So it's very neat. If you can get onto the website and take a look at it, I definitely recommend it because it looks really, really cool.
Yeah, I will put this link in the notes too.
Yeah.
Show notes for people to check this out. That's something that if they made some sort of replica of that available, I could see selling really well.
Well, guess what? If you are, this is my plug for them. If you are a patron for the UESP and you are in one of the, I think it's like the top 2 tiers this time. Maybe it is just the top tier. I'm not sure. They are doing maps of Tamriel that are laser cut like this as the Patreon reward for the year.
Oh, that's cool.
It's super cool. It might be too late to get in on that, but yeah.
I just got a notification that
Oh
yep,
no!
Gwen has.
Oh no! Gwen, come back!
So
She's still sitting there. Is the stream up? Nope, stream's not up anymore.
Uh-oh.
Ruh-roh.
She went.
Hang tight, everyone.
Yep. No, I was gonna say just as far as this one goes, I don't know what the one what theirs is gonna look like, but this map. Hey, Gwen's back.
Hi.
back.
So my internet decided to disappear.
Oh no.
But yeah, just I could see them being able to sell that map pretty easily, as long as it wasn't like $1,000 or something. That might be more than what most people want to pay, but um, if they made replicas of that available, um, I'd certainly be interested in one. I have a little. I got it at Target, I think, but it's a map of Skyrim. It's not. It's just a print, or it's on like a hard material. I'm
Like
not
a backer.
Yeah, and it's about the size of a like a larger picture frame, turned sideways. But um, so yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. It's sitting up on my shelf with my other Elder Scrolls memorabilia, which is mostly Funko Pops, but and the cookbook. Um, but this one would certainly look better than that one, just in its detail. Um,
Yeah. I think there are people that make them on Etsy, but of course they're pretty, because they're custom and they're not like mass produced.
right.
But you can find them. But yeah, this one is just incredible.
Yeah, I like the colors, and everything about that looks really nice. Something that would be kind of cool that they could do with something like that wouldn't be terribly expensive, or at least shouldn't be, would be puzzles.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd put that puzzle together and then frame it. Um, but anyway, so not much more can be said about that. It's a map, but it's a cool map, and so we'll put that in show notes. You can go check that out.
For sure.
So November 21st through the 26th, the Taverns and Tales
Topic,
yeah.
I guess, for the week.
Yeah. Favorite pastime and ways to unwind in Tamriel. What do we like to do?
Running dungeons like crazy people.
Is that really your favorite pastime, Gwen?
Actually, no, trials. Trials is really relaxing. I love doing trials.
Really? Even as a healer?
Yeah.
I feel like that would be stressful for me personally, but I think that's great.
For some people, stress is relaxing.
Well, that's true.
The coordinated chaos, it's relaxing.
Very true. It's a
Um,
good way to think about it.
yeah.
What about you guys?
I would say one of my favorite things to do is hanging out in a snug pod, chatting with my pals.
Aw, sucker.
Aww.
I mean, I do.
Cat, you don't get any extra scratches behind the ears for that.
That's okay. I got claws. And I'm wearing a hat to keep the fleas off my ears.
This is a sterile snug pod, thank you.
It's a flea hat. Yeah, but I came from outside.
Nice save.
It's flea hat. So, but yeah, I mean, this is the thing that I stay up late on Sunday nights to do, is to hang out with you guys. So, yeah, and talking to the other folks that are in here with us sometimes, which I don't see because I'm handling the YouTube stream, and everybody's over on the Twitch. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
That was convincing, though, wasn't it? You thought I was crying. You thought
okay.
I was crying. You thought I was crying.
I didn't.
You did.
But,
So,
sure.
what about you? What about you? Your favorite pastime?
That's kind of a hard question, but I'm gonna be honest. This is gonna sound so stupid, but honestly, one of my favorite things to do is like when I'm not sure what to do in game, I just kind of pick a random way shrine, pop on my mount, and I don't fast travel anymore. and I just kind of like walk or run and look at scenery, and sometimes I just stop for a while and like let the ambient noise and stuff play and just kind of listen to what's going on. Um, or I even go into like one of the main cities or towns and I just pick somewhere and stand there and wait to listen to like stuff that the NPCs say or just general ambient noise, and kind of just enjoy the stuff in the game that is probably lost a lot of the time, but that someone works really, really hard on. So I love that. And I also really, really love, if everybody has been in our Discord or you've been on the Elder Heroes Twitter at all, you know that I have a massive addiction to taking screenshots.
Yes.
So, one of my favorite things to do is to find, a great photo, a great video game photo. I think that video game photography should be more of a thing than it is. And I love kind of stumbling across a good shot or something that, people may not have seen before or an angle people may not have seen before. And I just love that. So
and
that's
then
kind
making
of,
contests out of it.
yeah, that's true, actually. Making contests out of it or posting it in our Elder Heroes stuff so that Crown can use it as, like publicity stuff for us or, I have thought many a time about creating like an actual account for screenshots, but I just haven't done it because, again, that's one more thing for me to manage that I don't have time for at the moment. So, yeah, that, and actually, I do really, really love running dungeons like blind for the first time with you all.
Hmm.
That is a really enjoyable thing for me now. Like when I first started this game, I was terrified of group content, to be honest, like running dungeons or doing any of that stuff. And that was not because I didn't have a group to do it, because I had a great group. And I loved doing it with my friends, but I was terrified of the group finder when it came out, because I didn't want to run content with strangers and not feel good enough. But I'm just kind of over that now and I don't really care. But yeah, I love doing, that content and that having that feeling of accomplishment at the end, even if it's just like a random normal. It's really nice to feel like, oh yeah, I did that. Or to be able to help somebody else do it for the first time. So, yeah. I would say that's probably kind of my favorite things right now in game. And I just love questing, of course. But those are probably the things that I do most in game at the moment.
Yeah, I think as far as things that I do most, I probably, being the cat that I am, I do like to just jump on things. I often find myself just running around and just trying to jump on things.
Like that night in Vardenfell that we all got on top of the blacksmithing furnace
Uh-huh.
in the middle of Vex City.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
War night.
Guar night!
Holding on our
That's
guar.
Yeah.
That still needs to be an event.
Yes.
We talked about doing it and we haven't done it. We need
Yes.
to do a Guar parade.
And now everybody has a guar pet.
Yeah,
So
no excuses. Even if
can-
you don't have a Guar to ride, you can bring your Guar.
Yeah. Yeah. But honestly, we've been given guar mounts in the past too. So if you've been playing very long, you probably got that at least.
That's true.
So, time to pull out guar mounts and guar pets and go bounce on things. But yeah, I just sometimes like to see if I can climb rocks and trees or anything else that looks like a place I might be able to land if I can get to it.
So you like to pretend that you're playing Skyrim?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that was like a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of the things that the horse was good for, right? Being able to,
Exactly.
like, force your way up the side of the mountains.
Yep.
I
like-
Yep.
never used the horse in Skyrim.
Me either,
They
because
always
mine would always
die.
die.
Yeah.
Well, you can get a spectral horse too, though.
Shadowmere.
Yeah.
You never got it though because you killed Astrid. Weirdo.
No,
Yeah.
no. There's another one that you get from when you go into um, oh gosh, um, go into when you the vampire thing, right? When when you go into the area when you're dead or you're almost dead or whatever. Um,
Oh, the Soul Gem world?
yeah.
Oh, I thought you got a dragon from that.
That too, but I did have a spectral horse. I'm pretty sure. Um, so, yeah. Anyway, uh, carry on. I have to mute for just a moment.
He's left
Okay.
us now. What do we do? What do we do?
Um, go on with the show notes.
I guess so.
Lore book deep dive.
Sure. Let me open it up.
I didn't actually leave. I just had to mute.
Oh, okay. Did you have to hack up a lung?
No, no, no. I had to hug a kid.
Oh, that's acceptable. Hugging a
Yeah.
kid is well worth it.
Yeah. So, um,
All right. Who has the least sickness?
Me.
All right. Cool. You get to read. Congratulations.
Great. Well, for this one, they basically talked to Bill Slavisek and Helena. I think Watch House or what?
Watch
Mike
House.
Mike
Watch
Wazowski.
House, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Bill Slavisek and Helena Watchhouse to chat about what goes into the creation of the lore books in game. And as a fire song in Update 36, this is an insane number. Did you see what it is? How many lore books there are? Never. Have
Yes.
you read it?
7,000.
Oh,
But
man. I
how
was going to
many of
ask you to
those are?
guess.
But how many of those are actual lore books? Like we have lore books, but then we also have like style motif books. Those count as the lore books and everything in the library, and the like lore sheets. Like how many actual lore books are there? I get there's all this lore that's counted in, but how many are actual lore books?
I don't know, but even so, that's a lot.
It is a lot. It is still a
That's
lot.
a
And
heck.
it is all still technically written. It is all work that has been completed.
You
I'm
Yeah.
not
know,
going to downplay that.
you know, depending on how you want to do the comparison on the math, we're how many years into this game? Like 10? Is that right?
Not yet.
Not
Yet.
quite.
Not yet 10.
8,
Okay. Well, either
9.
way, but in less than a year, we've gotten almost 2,000 listens.
Oh my gosh.
So that's a lot of Snugpod lore.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. All right. Beating a dead horse. Carry on.
Wow. Okay. Well, anyway, they talked to them about how these actual lore books are crafted. So it says, read on. So yeah, I will, I guess, power through and read this. So let's see what the interview says. It says, thank you both for chatting with us about ESO's lore books. To kick things off, what exactly are lore books in the Elder Scrolls Online, and how do we use them? Bill replied, in ESO, we use several internal classifications for books, but the two primary ones are quest books and flavor books, which are also called lore books. We use lore books to fill out and add flavor to a release's story. They can be notes, scraps of paper, stone tablets, or actual books. They usually deal with something going on around the zone, focusing on one of the themes, characters, places, or creatures in the area, and they're another way for us to provide story. You can find anything in a lore book. They are our most robust tool for further detailing the world, beyond the quest and the dialogue and the visual storytelling. Anything that can be written down, we can turn into a book and use it to further explore this wonderful universe that we're helping to create. So the next question is, how do you plan the creation of lore books for an upcoming release? Bill said, for a chapter or a story DLC, the lore master, the primary writer for the main story, and I usually come up with a style guide and list of flavor books we want to add to the world. We create that basic list as a starting point, but everybody else in the team, including designers and writers, can suggest other ideas and throw them onto a list. Then anyone can grab a book from the list and start writing. We do anywhere from 60 to 120 books for a release, depending on its size. Helena also responds, while they generally have the fewest lore books, there's usually a lot of fun things going on in a dungeon that I want to give more context to. For example, the dungeon villains don't always have the time to explain their plans, so we like to have books that actually spell it out that way for any curious players to go and find. That is true. That's one of the coolest things that I like about Dungeons and Delves, is that sometimes you can run across the lore books that give you like a little bit of flavor and addition to everything.
Like the little disgruntled minion notes.
Yes.
Disgruntled minion notes. Those are great.
Yep. I love it when you find stuff like that. So their follow-up question to that was, there's only so much you can ever have an NPC tell the player, right? And Helena said, yeah, and in some respects, a villain monologue has its place and its strengths. But if you need to go into some sort of complicated or emotional backstory, it might come across more genuinely in a book or a note or a journal entry than it does in something that they say in front of a whole audience.
So I was trying to say, but I was muted. Back on that topic about the lore books in the dungeons. What was the dungeon where it's one of the secret bosses? I think that as you're reading the lore books, you realize that it's like a person that's going mad, and then you
Oh yeah.
when you kind of, as you read through the different ones, you see the descent into madness slowly take place. Yeah, so that's just kind of an example of some of the stuff that they're talking about doing, adding context, where if you just went and fought that person, you wouldn't really know what was the deal, but you see kind of what happened to them take place through those lore books. Anyway, all right, keep going.
Yeah, no, I agree. I love stuff like that. So it says, do you have a favorite format or style for a lore book? Helena said, just for me personally, I tend to like letters and to-do lists. I think it can get specific voices and character information across in those. I really like writing them, and because they're not restricted by any sort of length, I have the freedom to play around with however long I want the list or letter to be. That makes sense. Next question is, what's the process from start to finish for the creation of a lore book? Bill said, first we come up with the big list of topics. Food of the zone, drinks of the zone, creatures of the zone, places in the zone, traveler's guides, you name it. We cover a bunch of common topics every release, and then we add content that's unique to the new zone. Along with the big list of titles and topics, we add a sentence or two describing the specific idea. Then we leave it to the person who decides to take up that book to research and write it up. Helena said, usually I go for ones that I think I can do something fun with. I play off of the descriptions and try to figure out what the lore book's purpose is. What information are we trying to get across to the players? Then, I usually do a ton of research because there are so many books in the Elder Scrolls universe and in ESO. I don't want to rehash something that somebody has already written. I spend some time trying to figure out how I can write this book because there are so many different styles. Songs, poems, love letters, recipes, to-do lists, histories, you name it. If we're super clever, we might write them as ledgers or financial documents to get the information across. At that point, I play around with the voice for a little bit because we have so many fun accents and characters and different things that I can do. So figuring out the voice also leads into the tone because it makes no sense to write something funny to cover something that's supposed to be somber or serious. I tend to write in a Word document and then convert it into our internal system. This gives me multiple forms of word processing and spell checks along the way, and then we put it into the game's editor. Next question is it at that point where the rest of your team reviews your new book? Helena says, yes. When it's in the editor, it's available to everyone, and Bill gives notes. And Bill says, when somebody finishes a book, they throw it into a special folder for every zone package that we're working on. Anybody can look at them, but I do a full review of all of the books in there. Sometimes I'll just do some editing, and other times I'll throw it back to the writer, depending on how extensive my notes are. In general, lore books don't usually require a second rewrite. Helena said, apart from motif books, which usually have 2 or 3 rewrites. That's interesting. So, lore books a lot of times make it through on their first shot, but a motif book has to go through multiple rewrites. I wonder if some of that has... Oh, wait, that's the answer to the next question. Never mind. Why is that? Is it because they're more technical than most other lore books? Helena says, they're a bit more technical and they tend to cross over with multiple teams. So if we describe a piece of armor that then has its art or marketing change, we have to adjust. They also tend to lean heavily on obscure lore, so Michael Zenke, our lore master, goes through and does a pretty thorough edit of them.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's what I was just going to say. I wonder if it had to do with the fact that the art style changes or things like that, you know.
Well, you're smarter than me because I wouldn't have thought of that right away. I was very confused.
The next one is, what happens after you've completed your internal reviews? Bill said, once I've done my review of all the books, I put them into the collection so they can be found by the players in the world. At some point, I tell the zone lead they're ready to be physically placed into the world. And in general, flavor books can go almost anywhere, but if they're related to a specific area or place, they'll go there. Or if they're related to a specific new monster type, they'll go wherever you might see the monsters. We leave it to the designers and the world builders to place them and make them look like they're part of the story in the world. And then next question is that when QA might jump in and start reviewing them? Bill said, QA looks at everything we do. That's part of their job, and we love them for that. Once in a while, a writer will have a thought that they did their research and didn't get quite right. So in addition to finding spelling errors, we might get QA asking, hey, this book said X, but the quest said Y, so which one is right? Recently, we had a book about wine, but neither the writer nor myself are wine experts, but a QA team member was, so they gave us some suggestions on to make the content more accurate. Ha! That's cool.
Love it.
So the next question is, what's the craziest or most esoteric thing you've learned when writing a lore book? Bill said, the difference between beer and mead and the fact that they're not made the same way.
No, they're actually extremely different things. I know this.
Helena said, early on I did a book on birds, and knowing exactly which birds are in Blackwood is very niche knowledge. I don't know if that's going to be useful at any other point in my life. Is it challenging to craft lore books for characters who might not be very good writers? Helena, it's how we explain the typos. And Bill says, we try not to do that too often because the books do have to be understandable. I had fun writing Rigert the Brash. His journal entries were each simply titled with today, so we never knew when he actually did them. He just wrote stuff as he thought of it. Helena, in the Deadlands, I wrote books for a couple different scamps, and I remember having a lot of fun coming up with their writing style because they don't use articles. Bill said, we follow the philosophy of the unreliable narrator throughout the game, so we make a real effort to make sure that the books are written in somebody's voice. It's their opinion, and if we have an opportunity, we'll provide the opposing opinion or even a third view because nothing is true in Elder Scrolls except your experience. I love that. What type of books do you consider the trickiest ones to write? Helena. That's a controversial topic in the writers group because people have very strong opinions on motif books. I don't mind them, but there are some people who absolutely detest writing motif books and will vocally ask not to do them. Bill, I have never written a motif book. I leave those to everyone else.
Those are my favorite books.
He says, I would say history books can be tricky, and they take a lot of work. You want to make sure that you do your research, or if we're making up a history of a new place, that we're being consistent, or at least as consistent as we need to be. Sometimes coming up with things like Daedric riddles or books of spells or things like that can be challenging. Helena said, I'm bad at poetry. When I write it, it feels clunky, so I'm glad there are other people on the team who can help make it better. But my first and second drafts of poems are always terrible. Bill said, songs can be interesting to write. We do a number of them every release, and some of them go to the audio team to score so we can hear them get sung in the game. We give them our best shot before Brad writes the music, and he often makes changes or asks us to make changes so the rhythm works. Those are probably the second most reviewed books after the motifs. Ooh, here we go. This one's a good one. Putting you both on the spot. Do you have a favorite book? Helena, my favorite book I've written was one of the to-do lists I wrote for a scamp. It's actually a quest book, so it's got purpose in the game. And I threw in a couple of twists at the end, outlining his goals as a Daedra, and to show him just being weird. I think I saw 5 or 6 tweets on launch day as people found this wanting to find more. I was pleasantly surprised at the response. But my favorite book, and one that exists in infamy, is the series of cheese books. They're ridiculous, and I love them. Bill said, and that's another thing we had to learn, how to make cheese so we can write those crazy books. Helena says, all the cheese books. And Bill says, I have a couple of categories. In general, I love all the stuff we write. They're all my children, and they're wonderful, whether I wrote them or my team wrote them. But some of my favorites include the to-do lists that Stibbins wrote in Orsinium. I always found that one to be funny. And I love the Investigator Vale books that I created. Now it's an ongoing series that's taken on a life of its own, and other writers have contributed to it.
The writer of
And
Investigator Vale has been revealed.
That's right. And Helena says, we tried to make you proud. And Bill said, you know, I love it when something in a book inspires designers and suddenly becomes part of the game. Narcissus Dren is an example of that. He was a character in a book that Janet Priblio, one of ESO's senior content designers, and I figured would be a great character to throw into a quest, so you could get to know this really obnoxious guy, and then do something horrible to him.
Every time.
Oh, that's the shove him in the well guy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Shove him in the well, leave him in the butt. Yeah.
Yep. And their last question is, how does it feel to see lore book content shared and discussed online? Are you surprised at the reaction to some of your books? And Bill said, oh, I love it. It also helps us find stuff later. We write this for people to see and read and experience, and it'd be a lot worse if they weren't doing that. Helena said, it's always so much fun going through and seeing what pieces they're reacting to, what they like, and what's generating posts or tweets. It's the ones that you think nobody is going to care about, or just read and chuckle and then put down. Those always get more attention than you're expecting. It's a delight. So it says, a huge thank you to Bill and Helena for helping us dive into ESO's lore books. Do you have a favorite book in the Elder Scrolls Online or the Elder Scrolls series? Share your favorites. So there you go. Do you have a favorite book in the Elder Scrolls series, guys?
I like so many of them.
I do too.
Oh my
it's
gosh.
hard.
Give me a second. I think
It's
I
hard
do
to
have a
pick.
favorite.
So I
What would it be?
probably haven't honestly read enough of them to have a favorite. Depending on when I find them, a lot of times I'm not in a reading mood. But there are definitely some that are quite funny.
So probably the Draugr style books, because they're all written by Narcissus Dren, and it's basically how to cosplay as a Draugr from Narcissus Dren's viewpoint. Or the Hollowjack ones, because they're all sing-songy. But,
Oh yeah, that's so true.
yeah, being told how to cosplay a Draugr by Narcissus Dren is it's pretty something.
Yeah, I think for me it's hard to pick just one too, but I think one of my favorite ones is A Dance in Fire. That story and the twists and stuff in it, because there's, multiple volumes. It's about an imperial. I think he's an imperial, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I read it, but it's a guy who basically goes to Valenwood to help make all these ledgers for trade and whatnot with the Khajiit and the Wood Elves, and just complete craziness ensues. And there's a bit of a twist at one point that I don't want to mention, but yeah, it's good. If you get time to read it, definitely read it. A Dance in Fire is a great one. And that was one that someone suggested for me to read. Like one day I was at work and I think might have been Pylon actually. I said something about oh, I'm sitting at work. What do I read on the UESP right now? Or what do I what lore book can I look at? And somebody was like, oh, you should read A Dance in Fire. And and I started reading it. And at the end I was like, oh! So I definitely think that it's a fun read for sure.
Cool. A Dance in Fire. Sounds like a movie.
It kind of plays out like a movie in many aspects if you read it. Definitely give it a read.
Isn't that movie about that guy that ran races? Oh wait, that's Chariots of Fire.
That
Oh
does
my
sound like a horse
gosh.
film, like one of those really focused horse film things. Yeah, you're right. All right.
Dances with
Wow.
Wolves.
Anyway.
No, I love that movie.
Anyway.
It's been too long since I've seen that movie. I don't remember it.
Yeah, he dances with wolves. There's not much to it. Anyway.
God. Yeah, is that everything? Looks like that's about everything.
We have announcements. But,
oh, yeah. Right, but I meant news and lore and whatnot.
I do believe so.
Very cool. Well, all right. So before we close, we do have some announcements, as Gwen said. Anything you'd like to announce, Gwen?
Anything I'd like to announce?
Yeah, is there like an announcement you're like, ooh, I want to announce that? Are you excited about anything?
I never get excited.
I'm excited about your extra live stream.
Oh, well, okay, yeah, okay, that's not in our announcement list, but...
It's not, but I'm still excited about it.
That will be December 9th into the 10th, starting at 9 p.m. EST on the YouTube.
Sweet.
We're doing some crazy stuff. For sure, we'll be doing some ESO, we'll be doing Blades, and then either some live art or maybe some Majora's Mask.
Sweet. Sounds like it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah.
I'll plug them too, just because since it's a holiday week and whatnot, I'm not sure what our status of our show is going to be next weekend. But I believe it's December 3rd. I think I'm right about that. Tails and Lotus, they are doing their Extra Life 24-hour stream.
It is December 3rd. I remember that because I'm going to be out of town.
Yeah. Oh no, you mean we can't have a repeat of our Dragon Star?
Oh, we're gonna try.
Or not Dragon Star, Black Rose Prison experience?
I have been told bring my PlayStation with, and they will try to let me get in some game time to help out. So that is possible.
Alright, well, I guess we'll have to see. We'll see if we can get a repeat with Lotus of his internet dumping out and leaving Gwen and I stranded right in the middle of Black Rose, screaming and running around.
It's been a year. I'm a better healer now. I have actually like a proper healer set. We can do this.
You weren't a bad healer. It was just we were trying to all 3 DPS and you and I didn't really know the mechanics.
That's true. It was only like my 3rd time running Black Rose, maybe 2nd. I don't know. It was still a new dungeon for me.
Indeed.
Oh.
So yeah, but definitely head on over there and support Gwen on the 9th and support them on the 3rd.
Seriously, it was fun watching them and helping last year. Support them on the 3rd. Great.
All elder heroes.
Old heroes.
Mm-hmm. That's us.
We're all...
I have not done or been able to set up a stream time for myself yet because of my work schedule. I was actually hoping to have streamed yesterday, and then work added a shift to my work schedule, so that didn't happen. But I do have some time off coming up. I believe I have like a random day that I took off that work approved, so we'll see. Maybe I can scrape something together then.
Cool.
So there you go.
Oh, Gwen, your thing was in the show notes.
It was?
Yeah, it's in there. Gwen's Extra Life stream.
Oh, my bad. I missed that. It's right there.
Sure is.
It looks like someone just kind of
typed
it real quick because it's not all underlined and formatted like everything else. But yeah.
Well, I mean, cut Crazy some slack. She's not had a lot of sleep, and sometimes she might make those mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, there's no I in team.
There is a me.
Oh boy.
There's also a mat, but I don't know what you do with that. Um, the Yeah, so back to our announcements. Some changes in Discord. Some of the stuff you've been working on. Crazy with getting Xbox kind of reintegrated. Uh,
Yep.
Trying to get those members back into the primary Discord. Um,
Indeed.
so, in regards to that, we're also looking for somebody to take on the role of GM over there. Um, get some leadership in place and get things moving there. Quite a few players on that platform, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what the number is, but they've uh, got a pretty solid base, I think. Um,
Yep.
so just need somebody to step up and take it on and keep pushing it forward. Um, we have a new channel for PlayStation in Discord. What's that about?
We do. We have now a PSNA event sign up channel. So it kind of follows along some of the same format that the other platforms have for their event signups. I was finally able to kind of get it worked out. So basically, we have a channel that will show you what the calendrical stuff is. And then there's another channel where you can go and you can use a bot to sign up for certain events. So that way the event leads have an idea of who is going to potentially be there. The nice news is that you can also like bench yourself or say if you're going to be late or different things like that. So it's a pretty great new tool that we have in the Discord channel. We've been utilizing it for trials already, a different version of the bot, but there's different choices for different events. So we have now one that is just a standard like yes I'll be there, no I won't be there, um, or I want to be there but I'm not sure if I'll be there,
Oh, I
kind
can
of
use that
a
one. Use that
sign
one a
up
lot.
situation. So yeah, it's really cool. I like it, and it lets people kind of see everything, and it doesn't get lost in the calendar channel or in the general chat. So having the nice separate new Discord channel, and it keeps it nice and clean because once the events are over, it gets deleted, so it doesn't stay in there. Um, so it's nice. But yeah, so check it out. There's a new Discord channel for PlayStation for that, and it will have the events listed, and then you can go through and sign up for what you want.
Nice.
Yeah.
As for some of the things on the event calendar, Mondays we still have Mondays with Moki. Flex event starts with fishing. Uh, Start grouping up about 7:30 to
Mm-hmm.
head out about 8 o'clock. And that's Eastern time.
Yep.
Um, you can either uh, join up through Discord or just in-game chat. Just type an X,
Yep.
something like that, and then whenever just hop on and do that and get added to the group and go hang out. Treacherous Tuesday is all about them dungeons, uh, them dungeons that you want to get done, and however way you want to get them done. Them
Dungeons.
Yeah, done dungeons. Get them dungeons done. Um, so if you want to do lore runs or you want to do achievement runs or you just want to farm gear over and over again, whatever the case may be, that's the night we encourage everybody just to group up and go tackle dungeons. We've got trials on Wednesdays, 9 p.m. This week is normal Cloud Rest and normal Dreadcell Reef, and planning on first Wednesday night Vet Hellraw Citadel next week on the 30th. So sign-ups, as we said, will be in Discord for that. So jump in and get your name down if you're wanting to take part in those. The requirement for vet trials is that you have completed the normal trial with the group, right?
Yep.
Okay. And Fearless Friday with Artheria. It's an Undaunted event. First one was this past Friday.
Yeah.
Right? And do we
It
know how that
was.
went?
Yeah, it went pretty good. I mean, it was a little short notice because of me getting everything posted and up for her. But yeah, I've got the sign up already up for this coming week. But I think it went pretty well. It was, I think they ran a dungeon in like the Skyrim area for their keys and all of that. So
Cool. Um,
yeah.
so that's going to be that uh, Undaunted event means it's like pledges and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's like pledges, the daily delve pledge, anything like that that I think gets you undaunted, keys, points, levels, basically. So if you have a new tune and you want to go through and level it, feel free to bring it. If you have just a hankering for keys, bring it. If you have a hankering for skill points, same.
Right. Cool. Um, yeah. So far, that's what we've got. I mean, that's 4 days out of the week. So um, if those
Doing pretty good.
if those events, um, stay active, and you know, and that's a pretty good schedule so far. Um, and there's other days of the week there. If somebody has ideas for things that they want to do and are willing to lead, hit us up, and we can see about getting that kind of stuff scheduled too. I'm always looking for people who want to kind of take on uh, different things like that, because there's all kinds of different players, and you may be interested in leading some small niche thing that you think only you have fun doing, that there might be 10 or 15 other guildies that are like, hey, that's actually exactly what I've been hoping to see, but I was never brave enough to say so myself. So um, and that's how fun things get started. Sometimes it just takes the first person stepping up and saying, yeah, let's go do that. um, so be a trailblazer. um, and that can be Thursday's event. Um, so yeah, hit us up, and we can work on getting that kind of stuff set up for you. Other than that, I think it's pretty well all we have. It's all that's in our notes, other than our where to find us stuff. Gwen, you have anything else?
Mm, let's see. Our social media. You can follow us at Snugpodcast on Twitter. Email snugpodcast@gmail.com. Twitch.tv/snugpodcast, which you're probably watching. Well, if you're not watching right now, then that is a place where you can watch us. Or YouTube, search Snugpod. Search Snugpod Cast. And if you want to join the guild, or just want to check out the new landing page, it is loreseekers.club.
Yep. And you can catch us on your favorite podcast apps too, if you are watching this either live or in the future on YouTube. It's podcastable too, so just get on your podcast apps and search for Snug Podcast, and you can find us there, and you can put us in your ear hole whatever way you like doing so. So um, yeah. So until next time, we're not quite certain on next week, just with Thanksgiving and stuff coming up. Um, so we may end up being gone a week. We haven't set that in stone yet, um, but we will try to get that out once we have it. So those things that we just gave you, where you can find us, one of those will have that information at some point. But until then, I think we are done for this evening. So we wish you a good week and have a good night.
Good night.
All right.